Getter Richard Bacon praised the NHS after coming out of his coma. Has now thankfully regained consciousness following a week spent in the medically induced coma for an unidentified double chest infection, initially believed to be pneumonia. In a response to comedian David Baddiel on Twitter, welcoming him back, the ex-Blue Peter host said jokingly, "I am alive. Or in Lewisham. Or somewhere between the two," before adding, "So, I did 6 days straight in a coma. Been here another 4 since. It's an, as yet unidentified double chest infection. At one point, I was run down a hallway to ICU, intensive care unit, at midnight with a massive needle jammed in my chest, bit like Pulp Fiction." Lisa Armstrong's alluring new look Sheeran tops charts with £80 million in a year, but then I didn't die. And I didn't die because I'm on the NHS. Viva the NHS. Richard Bacon, the father of 2, who's been married to Rebecca McFarlane since 2008, then thanked the NHS while also revealing he'd started asking himself some serious questions. "I thought, this is it. How's this going to affect my kids' lives? Who's going to sit my poor dad down and say I'm sorry, we did everything we could, but then I didn't die. And I didn't die because I'm on the NHS. Viva the NHS. See you for your 100th. By which time I probably will have pneumonia." How Olivia Colman will star as Queen Elizabeth II in The Crown. Here's the first look at Olivia Colman in her new role as Queen Elizabeth II. The photograph of Olivia in the third of Netflix series The Crown was revealed on Twitter, accompanied by just one word: patience. The 44-year-old Broadchurch star was announced last October as the new lead in the award-winning drama, taking over the role as the Queen. Ages from Claire Foy, 34. Olivia will be joined by Tobias Menzies playing the older Prince Philip as former Doctor Who Matt Smith bows out. Series 3 and 4 are expected to portray the royal couple from the mid-1960s onwards. Speaking about the role earlier this year, Olivia said, "I think Claire Foy is an absolute genius, an incredibly hard act to follow. I'm basically going to re-watch every episode and copy her." The Crown is due to return to our screens early next year. Erotima Paul Simon at his BST Hyde Park gig while at WASNT. Quite the sound of silence. The volume certainly needed cranking up a few notches at Paul Simon's BST Hyde Park gig in London at the weekend. Fans of the singer-songwriter, including Day Knight, were chanting "Turn it up" between songs until the message must have got through to the technicians who found the volume switch and gave the crowd what they wanted. The 65,000-strong audience, which also included Noel Gallagher and Hollywood star Dustin Hoffman and his wife Lisa, were treated to a number of classic songs from his mighty repertoire, including The Boxer, Graceland and Still Crazy. When Paul, 76, announced his homeward-bound retirement tour in February, he described it as a little unsettling, a touch exhilarating and something of a relief, but it's not the last we'll hear of him. He is releasing new album In the Blue Light in September, which revisits some of his old, lesser-known material. Wire Image take that 3, Gary Barlow, Howard Donald and Mark Owen take that have announced big plans for a UK tour and greatest hits album. Currently operating as a 3-piece, Gary Barlow, Howard Donald and Mark Owen, pictured, will, however, be minus former members Robbie Williams and Jason Orange. Songwriter Gary, 47, took to Twitter to say, "Exciting announcements coming from TTIII soon. We've an important release this winter in the form of a greatest hits with a twist. Then in 2019 we will turn our recordings into a live show featuring all the hits from the last 3 decades." Mark, 47, adds, "It's 30 years this year. We're making a record. We're always celebrating. We've been celebrating for 30 years. Mark obviously got a little overexcited as the band only formed in Manchester in 1990 where, incidentally, they wowed fans at an arena gig last weekend. Getty, Caroline Aherne was said to be smitten with Hugh Grant. Craig Cash says the late Caroline Aherne had a huge crush on Hugh Grant. Craig, 57, who co-wrote The Royal Family with Caroline and Phil Mealy, played Dave Best, husband of Caroline's character Denise in the iconic sitcom. He recalls her fondness for the Notting Hill star, saying, "She was so in love with Hugh Grant that she kissed the TV screen when he was on it. When her TV broke, the repairman wondered why there was lipstick all over it." 2 years after Caroline from lung cancer at 56, Craig, pictured with her here, still struggles to cope with her death. "I bought the box set of Danish political drama Borgen because of Caroline because I knew she'd love it." He adds to Radio Times, "She binged on the whole thing and I eventually had to stop her talking about it. After each episode broke my heart because I just wanted to get to her on the phone to discuss it."